Right, good morning. Just kidding. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, TEDsters. My name is Amarit Charoenphan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HUBBA. We're the first co-working space in Thailand for startups, creative, and freelance. And today I'd like to share with you one very simple message. I believe that co-working can and will change the world, and I'd like you to be part of that movement. So how did co-working begin in Thailand, and what is a co-working space? So for me, the journey towards building the whole co-working movement is essentially trying to solve a personal, very painful situation where my house was flooded in October 2011, and I had to move out to Pattaya. So like most people, me and my brother, we started working, of course, at our house. We rented a small house in Pattaya that includes 13 dogs, all the stuff we brought over from Pattaya, our very nagging mom, and just general mayhem with no Wi-Fi and 3G. Imagine that. And we're trying to start a business at that house. And okay, at first, of course, it sort of works. It's the quickest office you'll ever get to in your life. You just get up and go. It's also the most cost efficient if you're living with your parents. And also, it's comfortable if you're working from your bed or in your underwear. Unfortunately, I do not have pictures of me working in my underwear, but more importantly, is that you'll soon find out that if you're working from your homes, you'll get the feeling that it's just not a place to start anything. Whether you become lonely, bored, or just generally demotivated, and the place is really not suited for you to meet with investors, teams, your clients or your suppliers. Then once you throw in your pets, or you have wives, kids, visiting relatives, and 13 dogs, it just becomes too much. So like most people, we just said, oh, this is not going to work. So where did we go? So we went to look around for the best coffee and the best cafe in town. And we searched far and wide, and we loved coffee, and we craved it after a while. And also, we just loved the energy and buzz of seeing, people, especially good-looking people, working at a cafe. And initially, it sort of worked as well, but we soon found out that cafes were never meant to be office substitute. For very one reason, you're paying rent with 2 cups of coffee a day. If you don't drink, the owner starts looking at you, getting a bit pissed off. Then after a while, the power socket is hard to find, the chair is uncomfortable, the lights is dim, and then all the tourists from everywhere just starts coming in, and eventually you realize that this is too much distraction. And after a while, you just find out that this coffee shop has one very big drawback. One I found out in a very hard way, is that I had diarrhea. I had to pack all my stuff in my bag, put everything together, run to the toilet, and then it's locked. Somebody was inside, and then so I didn't do it on my pants. There was the ladies' room on the side. So what is there to do for new entrepreneurs? Essentially, it's the house and the cafe just didn't really work, but we couldn't afford an office or rented one of those service offices. So there has to be a better way. There is, which is this mega trend called co-working, which is working out for 100,000 people across the world in over 3,000 spaces worldwide. And we've read all this article and said, this is so awesome, but none of this exists in Thailand. So if there was one in Pattaya then, I would pay money to go and use it. And it's working on so many people that it's actually fundamentally changing the way we work and for the better. So what is co-working space? A lot of people say, yes, it's basically a whole bunch of independent professionals coming together to share a facility that has all the stuff you find in a really nice office. But that's the simplistic definition that only describes the tangible aspects of a co-working space, whereas I like to see co-working as a concept that is a verb and not a noun. It's a way of working, not actually a static place, but also where 3 co's in the word co-working converge. Cooperation, collaboration, community. It's where our generation of millennials and Gen Y and people after us want from workspace, a service, a relationship, a community. So back to my story. I came back from Pattaya and I thought this was a very big pain that I wanted to solve. And I really wanted to work out a co-working space. It was not in Thailand. I've never been to one. We've never done any market research, but we knew there were more people going through the same pain as me. And not just about the diarrhea, but just about working. So we realized that, okay, we're just gonna build it. And we found this really beautiful house. Actually, it's very ugly right now. But in 6 months, we turned it to this. We basically put everything that you find in a really nice office and more, and shared it with everyone. That's, beautifully decorated workspace, fast Wi-Fi, a lot of books, shared water, coffee, printing service, meeting rooms, everything, even a trampoline and a nice garden. However, all of that is very affordable for the budget-conscious entrepreneur and freelancer, and at the same time, so well managed that our members is focused on their work and not actually on the workspace or managing. So we thought that people love us for building this, and that they'll kiss my hand and say, oh, shut up and take my money. Oh, thank you, bringing Coworking to Thailand. But of course, that's a fairy tale. And the reality is that in the first months, we had 1 member. And we were like, what is going on? So we were, admittedly, so close to failure. I spent millions in the space. I built it. Nobody, everybody came, investors, media, and everyone. They liked it. But nobody really signed up. So I realized something was amiss, and asking enough questions, I realized that people just found co-working as a culture so new that they didn't know what was the value that they were getting out of this space, and that they didn't know whether it was more value above and beyond, just a nice office, but why should they be there instead of a house or a cafe? Realize it boils down to one word: community. And community is the lifeblood, what makes co-working space so addictive, because community is what gets my members and everyone that I know up from bed, travel far and wide to come to the space and pay me to work, because they find that the experience of working with awesome, like-minded individuals side by side every day, sharing coffee and conversation, becoming friends, starting to help, share, learn, and collaborate with one another is so invaluable, it's so hard to find, to the point that entrepreneurship is so hard for them. Freelancing is so hard when they're the first time, that they believe that if they can work with somebody else, the journey is much more fun and valuable. So finding that out, we focus on our communities, making the space fun and friendly, but also adding value where we can with events, activities, and workshops, like this event, Startup Weekends, 54 hours straight, complete strangers come together to do a startup business and pitch to investors. It was so well received that 200 people showed up in our latest event. And our latest conference for the technology startup ecosystem attracted 400 people, and we filled an entire auditorium. So who are all these people that work out of these spaces? And where do they come from? And at the events as well. So essentially, we've met so many different types of people. The sheer diversity is amazing. It's not just startups and creatives and freelancers, but I've met politicians and lawyers and yoga masters and painters and corporate warriors and nonprofit people, social entrepreneurs, actors. Actually, I had one really nice member recently who used to be homeless in New York, in the States, learned how to become a DJ, and one day she decided she's just gonna fly to Thailand, and she started writing about displaced people and becoming really famous about refugee issues. So basically, anybody can work out at a co-working space. Anybody in this room, all of you can work out there. Because essentially, co-working is a community of people with shared ideas, interests, and passion. And once we become together, we actually create this space where we work together. And because we all bring a bit of our individual soul and character, co-working spaces are places with a lot of soul. So now there's 3,000 spaces worldwide and growing, but there's a handful in Thailand. Now there's one in Chiangmai, one space, but I like to see this be everywhere, as common as coffee shops, and so common that all the new entrepreneurs, creatives, freelancers, innovators, and change makers work out these spaces and are supported and are nurtured and become more successful, allowing us to bring in more interested people who see now that their lifestyle is possible, this career is possible, working out these spaces and are well supported. And once they join the community, our community grows. And I really just love to end with one very simple message. Co-working spaces are the communities that bring the cooperative and collaborative cultures back to our cities, our communities, our society. And if we can help to foster more co-working spaces to be everywhere, we will have many more spaces with a soul across our cities. And that will lead to a rise in the quality of life in all our cities. So I'd like to urge all of you to join our movement, to work out of a co-working space from time to time, to support the ideas, people, projects that grow out of this space, and also to maybe even decide to open, operate, or invest in one. Because if we co-work together, we can create a better Thailand and a better world. Thank you very much.